Alright, and here's another one. Getting right back into it. Back at it again at Krispy Kreme. Ha ha, that's hilarious. Look at me pitifully trying to blend in with the cool young people and their vines. And Vine isn't even a thing anymore. I'm a lame old man. How did it happen so fast? Anyway, enough of that talk. So yeah, it's Donkey Kong still. So, previous episode, I mentioned that Dixie Kong might get into Smash Bros. And well, I guess that's not gonna happen. I mean, I guess that character's been confirmed as a spirit. Saying that makes me uncomfortable. But anyway, so yeah, they got the spirit mode in the new Smash Bros. And it really seems like the same thing as the sticker mode, as far as I can understand it. It really just kind of seems like a different branding, quite honestly. I don't think they really needed to give it its own separate mode, but hey, I ain't the developer here. I don't know how to turn video games into money. What do I know? I'm just some stupid fuck in a basement. I should rename my channel that. So anyway, yeah, no Dixie Kong, no Kitty Kong, none of the characters we wanted. We got Incineroar. I don't think anyone over the age of 12 was even familiar with that character before the direct. But that's just the way it goes. I can't change it, and neither can you. Someday, my voice is getting hoarse. I'm only on my second episode in the session. Anyway, someday, I miss the stars. Someday I'd like to make my own Smash fan game that actually has all the characters that I want in it. And I've looked into the topic a few times, but I've never actually made any real progress. I thought about using RPG Maker for a while, and I also looked at Unity, and just for laughs I looked at Visual Novel Maker as well. That clearly isn't what I needed for the type of project that I was trying to do, because on their website they have the Visual Novel Maker demo reel, and I was just looking at all these goofy pictures of just like anime teenage girls with big eyes, and just thinking how I'd use a similar software to put up a picture of like King K. Rool or something, and definitely not what we were going for. What did that bear have to say? I wasn't paying attention. Speaking of bears, remember when there's that one asshole who used to be on the Continue show? Or not the Continue show, what the hell's it called? The Completionist. And his funny thing that he would say was bears. Yeah, that was his thing. You gotta remember, I don't quite understand what the gag is there. It's just kind of sad when you remember that guy's probably like 46 years old. He's probably not that old. Oh yeah, here they spell out L and R with the bananas to tell you which buttons to use to drink the water. It's good game design. Anywho, so yeah, the one guy who used to be the co-host of the Completionist show, and his whole comedic shtick was that he would yell bears. That's probably the least funny thing you could do, quite honestly. It's just sad. There's a fish down there. Then again, I make fun of this guy, but it's not like I'm doing anything particularly memorable or entertaining, but at least I don't have some silly running gag that I use at all times, even though it was never funny in the first place. And then the Continue show, frack, I keep getting them mixed up. The Completionist people, they broke up, and I don't think the co-host guy with the bears has ever actually gone on to do anything else after the show ended. I guess his career kinda tanked, which is unfortunate in its own way. I gotta look up what he's doing these days. I mean, when you're already... I probably sound like a huge asshole saying all this stuff, but when you're already the secondary character on a show that's not all that popular to begin with, and you try to break things off to do your own show, I mean, it's just not a winning formula. The bananas a minute ago said to press Y, but that didn't really seem to do anything, especially since I was using an emulator with a PS2 controller when I recorded this. So I guess the equivalent to Y would have been triangle, but it did nothing, so we're just gonna brute force our way through it. Just like that. guys know what I'm referencing whenever I go, just like that? You'll figure it out. I am not going to tell you. Okay, we can get that fish if we... Or we could do that. That works too. For some reason I was just thinking of a commercial I saw like a decade ago for razors or something, and it had Adrian Brody in it. Has Adrian Brody been in anything recently? It's not like anybody ever comments on this stuff anyway. But, so, I don't think I've ever actually seen anything with Adrian Brody in it. I think he was in The Pianist. I'm trying to say it a certain way so people don't mock me. But, and he's probably been in other stuff too. Good old Adrian Brody. So if I haven't mentioned it before, apparently people don't like Donkey Kong Country 3 compared to the other Donkey Kong countries. I can almost sink low enough to get into that barrel, but not quite. Yeah, he just bobs back up. We're not going to mess around with that too much anyway. Apparently all those whiny people on the internet who are never quite satisfied with anything, they didn't like this one for some reason, and there's some douchebag who made a video about Donkey Kong Country 3 is the anti-climax of the SNES. And why can't you just play the fun game and get on with your life like the rest of us? I'm definitely outgrowing all that gaming content on YouTube, even though I'm making it right now. I guess those two kind of ideas are at odds with each other, but you get what I'm trying to say. I just don't have the energy to put up with people who complain about video games anymore. Don't have the energy for much of anything, quite honestly. This part's tricky. I completely forgot that you could shoot water out of your trunk. So I did a lot of these segments wrong. Them's the breaks. Missed the K at some point. I saw this comic once. It was just like a really poorly drawn MS Paint comic. And it was a guy standing in line at McDonald's. And for some reason, Mr. T was standing in front of him. And anyway, he started talking to him like, "What are you doing here, Mr. T?" He gave this whole speech about Mr. T just like regular folk. And I'm trying my best not to say it with an accent of any kind. Anyway, and it goes through this whole bit, and he spells out the name Mr. T, but he forgets to add the T when he's spelling it, and the guy tells him, "You spelled it wrong," and he says, "Yeah, you missed a T." I guess you had to be there. I gotta find that comic. That shit was real funny back in the day. We have been stuck on this level for what feels like an eternity. In order to pay for these damages, you two are gonna work for me forever. That had nothing to do with anything, but neither does 90% of the things that I say. Because this SNES game on its own does not provide enough content for meaningful commentary. Well, it's not like this commentary is meaningful either. I'm stuck. Ooh, just barely dodged him. Okay, so yeah, now we can get rid of Greenie McGee, and that'll make things a lot easier for us. And there we go. You can probably tell it's the end of the recording session, because I am completely tapped for things to discuss. It's probably going to come to me when there's 10 seconds left of the episode. What has been going on in the news? Here we got the boss battle. That's kind of neat, I guess. Here's a random thought that I had. I saw a clip from some movie on YouTube. This was probably several months ago already. But there's just like a bunch of party, alcohol, drug type people. And they were in a courtroom, and the, what do you call the court guy? The judge. Frick me, did I forget what a judge was called? Anyway, the judge they used some kind of special effects on his face to make it look like he was some kind of goblin or something like that. And he sentenced the party people to what was called the bone stripper. And so they got pushed down a slide and into a machine, and like you just see them going into the machine, and then it spits out bones, and that was something. Kind of graphic, quite honestly. I mean, it's not like they showed what happened inside the machine, but still. Wonder what movie that was. I bet all you super geniuses in the comment section can fill me in on it. Probably. So yeah, you can tell by the time left on this video that we're not gonna beat this boss, obviously. What to say? The Nostalgia Critic sucks. That's not something I can end this series on. I don't want to just say some random crap, though. Well, it's over now, so it doesn't matter.